When it comes to energy efficiency upgrades, those of us who live in old houses and those of us with small budgets, we kind of tend to be left out of the conversation a lot. Now imagine you live in an old house and you have a small budget. Well, then they're just not giving you solutions at all. I sat down recently with a sustainability engineer and I asked him what were the 3 cheapest upgrades you could make to your old house without blowing the budget, without making it that your family can't eat or you can't pay your mortgage. And these are the things he suggested that you should do to make your little old house just a tiny bit greener this month. Averaging out at around €20, a lagging jacket or a cylinder jacket is by far one of the cheapest upgrades that you're going to make to your old house. Basically what it is it's like a layer of insulation in a red plastic cover and you wrap it around your hot water cylinder, and what it does is it makes the cylinder heat up quicker and stay warmer for longer. Now, if you look here, you'll see what a copper cylinder looks like normally with no lagging jacket on it. This is usually in your hot press. So if you have a hot press, you more than likely have one of these. Now, if you look now, you'll see what it looks like once you have the lagging jacket wrapped around it. Now, this makes a massive difference when it comes to living in an old house. When we got ours, I think it cost us about €15 for our version. Obviously, the more you spend on them, the more efficient they are. Ours cost less than €20. And what it meant was when we had the fire lighting the night before, normally the next morning when we woke up, we would have no warm water left in our tank. We would have nothing for washing up, for having showers or anything like that. And it was just because the water that we'd heated up the day before in the tank just really had no insulation there to keep it warm. So by wrapping this little red blanket around it, what it did was the next morning when you'd wake up, all the heat that was in your tank when you went to bed the night before was still there. So you had the ability to have a shower, the ability even to have a wash, to do the washing up, things like that. But it also meant that when you lit your fire that morning, it wasn't heating up a freezing cold tank, it was heating up a tank that was still warm. And that meant that the radiators got warmer quicker and your little house got warmer quicker. So I'm going to put links down below in the description to all of these products that I'm recommending so you can just go and buy them yourself. And like I said before, these are cheap things that you can upgrade. This is not going to cost you the earth. It's not one of those things where I'm telling you, if you spend €5,000, then in 3 years' time you can get 25% of it back. This is small money and it's things that you can achievably put a little bit away for each month and even just do one of these things each month, and it's going to make a huge difference. The next thing I want to talk to you about is vent covers. Now, if you have vents in your rooms to move and change the air in a room, you'll know that they look like this. They're pretty standard. There's nothing too complicated about them. They're basically a hole in the wall with a little plastic cover that sits on top of them. But the thing is that a lot of the time, the covers that are on these vents are open all the time. Now you can buy a cover that costs less than a tenner that has a little toggle on it and you can close it and open it whenever you want. And what this means is that you have control over when the air changes in your rooms. So if it's the middle of the winter and your room is not warm enough, you can close the vent. And if it's the summer and you want a little bit of air in, or you at least just have the freedom to have the temperature a little bit lower, you can open the vent. It's such a small change. These are not expensive things to buy. You just screw off the one you have on it, screw on the new one, and they come in lots of different sizes. And it just means that you have a little bit more control over the air movement in your room, and you're not just constantly leaving this little hole in your room open at all times. And like I said before, these are cheap. Like, these can come in at less than a fiver, and it makes a huge difference. It just means that you can control closing the vent when you want to heat the room and opening the vent when you want to cool it. Just a little bit of control over when the air moves will make a huge difference to heating your house. The next thing I want to talk to you about is thermostatic radiator valves, or TRVs. Moving forward, we're going to call them TRVs because that is such a mouthful for me to get out. So basically what a TRV is it's a valve that goes on the side of your radiator and it helps you control the temperature of your radiator instead of it just being in an off or an on position. So I'm going to explain this to you a little bit better. If you look here, you'll see what a normal radiator valve looks like. They're nothing too complicated. They basically, you turn them so that they go on and you turn them so that they go off. There's no in between with them, and that's what you normally get. Now, a TRV looks like this. Now, if you can have a look at the top of it, you'll see that the main difference is really just that it has a kind of a dial going around the top that has the numbers 1 to 5 on it. But what it means is that you can set the temperature of certain radiators in your house so that they only maybe go to 2, and then some of them go to 5. And what it means is that when the temperature in the radiator gets to number 2, it just ferries the heat away to another room, and that room doesn't take the heat. Now, if you use a TRV and you keep it on number 5 the whole time, or you keep it on number 0 the whole time, it really is doing no more than a normal radiator valve will do. But if, let's say, you have kids that are away in college and their bedrooms aren't really being used, you can set your TRV in those rooms to maybe 2 or 3. If you have a hall or a utility room, you can set it down to a cooler temperature as well. But then let's say maybe you've got your bedroom, which you're in every day, and maybe the living room, you can set them up to 4 or 5. And it just means that you're kind of in a very simple way controlling the heat in your house smartly. I mean, these TRVs are enough to be classed as smart technology for your house. They don't have to be run on Wi-Fi. You don't need an app on your phone. It's okay that you walk around and you twist the knobs and you set everything up. But it just means that your radiators are functioning in a smart way and you're not wasting heat in rooms that you don't really need heat in. So how much do they cost? Well, you can get them for under £10 each. So this is not a massively expensive thing. You could change out one set of your radiator valves every month and it costs you less than £10. And even if you only just start doing it in the rooms where you want to lower the temperatures. So don't buy them for the living room first, because you're probably going to buy them for the living room, turn it up to 5 and just leave it on. But if you bought one maybe for your hall, or your landing upstairs, or maybe like I was talking about those rooms that there's nobody in at the moment, then get those ones and get them into those rooms so you can start saving the heat that's going around the rooms that you're not using. Now, I'm going to put links, like I said before, down in the description so you can have a look at them and you can just order them and get one set at least this month to make your house just that little bit more energy efficient. So there you have it, 3 energy efficiency upgrades that really don't cost a lot of money at all. I want to know that you guys are putting these in. If you have even 20 or 30 euro every month to dedicate to this, I am going to find solutions that you can use that are going to make your little cottages a bit more energy efficient. I'm going to come back with 3 more soon, and I want to say a big thank you to the sustainability engineer that helped me with this. This information is not just me going, oh, I wonder what would I do to make a house greener. This is proper information, good, strong, solid advice that you guys can take forward with you to make your houses a little bit greener. In the meantime, don't forget that you need to hit the like button below if you want to see more energy efficiency stuff. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget there's a little bell and you can turn it on and you'll get a notification every time I make a new video. And until then,